Welcome to Academic Gain Tutorials. In this video, we will discuss the differences between an initial public offering, commonly known as an IPO, and a direct listing. Both methods allow a private company to become publicly traded on a stock exchange, but they differ significantly in how shares are offered, how capital is raised, and how the listing process works. Let's explore the major differences between IPOs and direct listings. Number 1. An IPO allows a company to raise capital by issuing new shares to the public, whereas a direct listing allows existing shareholders to sell their shares without issuing new shares. Number 2. In an IPO, the company receives fresh funds from investors, whereas in a direct listing the company generally does not receive any new capital. Number 3. An IPO creates and sells newly issued shares, whereas a direct listing only offers existing shares already held by investors and employees. Number 4. In an IPO, the offer price is determined before listing through a book-building process, whereas in a direct listing the opening price is determined directly by market demand and supply. Number 5. An IPO requires underwriters such as investment banks to manage the offering, whereas a direct listing does not involve traditional underwriters. Number 6. IPOs usually involve higher costs because of underwriting fees and related expenses, whereas direct listings generally have lower overall costs. Number 7. The regulatory process for an IPO is often more extensive and complex, whereas a direct listing typically follows a simpler process. Number 8. An IPO generally takes longer because of roadshows and investor presentations, whereas a direct listing can reach the market faster. Number 9. Companies conducting an IPO have more influence over the initial offering price, whereas companies using a direct listing have limited control over the opening market price. Number 10. IPOs often experience lower first-day price volatility because pricing is managed beforehand, whereas direct listings may face higher price fluctuations on the first trading day. Number 11. In an IPO, liquidity can be limited initially due to share restrictions, whereas direct listings usually provide greater liquidity from day one. Number 12. IPO shareholders and insiders are often subject to lock-in periods, whereas direct listings generally do not require lock-in restrictions unless voluntarily agreed. Number 13. Existing shareholders in an IPO may face restrictions on selling shares immediately, whereas existing shareholders in a direct listing can typically sell shares from the first day of trading. Number 14. The proceeds from an IPO go directly to the company to support growth and expansion, whereas a direct listing provides no direct proceeds to the company itself. Number 15. IPOs are often viewed as more structured and stable public offerings, whereas direct listings are frequently seen as more transparent but potentially riskier. To summarize, IPOs are ideal for companies seeking to raise new capital and benefit from underwriting support, while direct listings are often preferred by companies that do not need additional funding and want a more market-driven approach to becoming public. Both IPOs and direct listings ultimately achieve the same goal, allowing a company to become publicly traded and gain access to public markets. However, the best choice depends on the company's financial objectives, growth strategy, and shareholder needs. If this lecture was helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.